Damn.
What's going on, beautiful people? How we doing today?
What's up, y'all? Coming off probably my personally roughest 3 in a row so far here in Austin, Texas. They're 3 in a row. I got crippled on 2 of those days. Not the most good experience. A little bit of drama going on, but I keep that on the unit and talk shit. Patients were sick.
Kiss and tell, man.
Yeah.
And we're down to 6 shifts. 2 weeks left of this travel nursing contract. Austin has been lovely. And in this meantime, we're trying to find our next location right now. We're kind of scoping up housing in Miami. It's hard to find short-term leasing. Our recruiter is sending contracts from different locations, seeing what the best rates are, since there's a spike in, that damn flu.
The
viral stuff that's going on,
And it sucks because the hardest part about travel nursing is housing. And now you have like these southern states that don't have these such tight lockdowns. Everyone's going there. As a travel nurse, people are vacationing, and it's super, super hard to find housing. And it's, housing is more expensive now too because demand is high, supply is low. So it's a little pain in the ass. And we have what, 2 more weeks left here?
Yeah. 6
more shifts, and we haven't found housing. We haven't really done a contract yet, but hopefully on the next couple of days here, we should have a contract ready to go. And ideally Miami, but if you gotta do like Fort Lauderdale or like Aventura or somewhere else around there, that'd be nice. We have Tampa is also a very good location, but we want to do the Miami experience. We're aiming for Miami Music Week potentially, so that's kind of why we also want to travel nurse there. So that's another reason why we travel, not just for the money, but because if you want to do activities, if you want to go to a concert, a festival that's like 3 days long, a week, you travel nurse there. Well, guess what? You're paying to be there. You work 3 shifts. You can easily have enough days off for you to attend all those days.
You're getting paid for your housing, so why not? And then also, we're finally leaving nights behind. God bless night shift. Love all the nurses, the best nurses. But it's time to give this body a break after 5 years. My shifts have been like a upward trajectory. So started pretty decent. Had 2 patients. The second night, I transferred a patient out, and I had only 1 patient. So I was just kind of honestly being a task nurse and helping the unit around, drawing blood, setting up stuff for a central line and A line and stuff like that. And then my third night, I had one of my patients was just psychotic. Poor guy, of course, autism. They think that they might have switched one of his meds, like Topamax, anticonvulsant. Ended up maybe having a reaction to it. His ammonia built up, came in from metabolic encephalopathy, and he's probably top 2 patients I had that was combative. The first one was in leather restraints in San Diego, but this guy was crazy. 4 points, banging his head against the rails, spitting on staff, gave him Ativan, gave him Benadryl, nothing worked. Ended up getting some phenobarbital. After an hour, he calmed down. Ended up freaking putting a mask on his face, taping it around his head so he doesn't spit on people. I crisscross his restraint so that guy can't even move an inch. And I wish I had vest restraints here. So this place doesn't. So instead of what I did is I took a blanket, folded it, put it across his upper body, tightened it against the rail, just so he wasn't able to thrash. And then after that, he passed out.
Yeah.
Didn't touch the guy since. Not to mention, I gave him lactulose. I was the first nurse, so this guy was shitting the bed. Yeah.
Was it because his potassium was high or what?
His ammonia.
Ammonia was high, huh?
So it was 50, nothing too tragic, but if he came in for encephalopathic, acute metabolic encephalopathy, they try to reverse that, see why the hell he's acting the way he is, man. Because he kicked an ER nurse. Our charge said that, he was like a highlight for CT yesterday, and people were talking about him. So
all right, no ICU, dude.
Yeah, and he's a tele patient, but they can't control him. So luckily I had a sitter, and he was a swole ass dude. He helped me out a little bit.
Respect. That's crazy because he had all that going on because they changed up his medication, right?
They're suspecting.
So what's crazy thing about that is if changing up medication could make somebody turn like that. Imagine these medications that they recommend to people for kids, amphetamines like Adderall and shit.
He's allergic to amphetamines. They might already try that, didn't work out.
Yeah. So it's crazy how if a med reaction could happen like this, imagine people out there that are bad creating medications to kind of manipulate your mind, because I guarantee you probably didn't know what the hell he was doing. He for sure didn't know he for sure wasn't his baseline. It wasn't him. He's not gonna remember it, right? He's not gonna know what the hell he did. He might remember it, but it's not really him. So think about, and that's just changing on medication. Imagine if they gave you medication, recommend it, somebody recommends it to you, and slowly change your mind over time. It's almost like mind control if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because if you could make somebody turn to that, then low-key,
acute freaking altered mental status.
Yeah, like low-key, people that don't believe mind control, I believe it exists because like we see it in a hospital all the time, like with these medications, and you see what these medications do to people.
Yeah,
you know?
just alcohol withdrawal is a great example, right? They go into complete shit. Oh, guess what? So a couple episodes ago, I had a patient at 120. Do you remember how towards the end of the shift, we kind of saw her like on a slam down to bed, altered mental status?
Yeah, we told them she's not withdrawing, but
yeah.
she was. Yeah.
So check this out. She ended up going on the floor. She already desaded to begin with, right? Was refusing the BiPAP, wasn't cooperative, had a PEA arrest, coded, ROSC, and I had her as a freaking as a patient. Literally
Crazy.
A week later. Yeah, it's crazy to see that progression of somebody that was not being cooperative, but also what the hell alcohol does to you, dude. You're drinking bourbon every day. You're coming in for polynephritis because you have a kidney stone.
Liver's probably shot.
Shit's the fan.
You can't give them Tylenol. You can't give them certain meds because if it affects the liver, it's screwed. Same propofol. If they have elevated liver enzymes, you can't give them propofol. Got to give them different sedation. And sometimes propofol would do a very nice job, but their LFTs are up. You got to paralyze them. And now instead of just doing propofol, now they're paralyzed and I Precedex or Versed or some shit.
Yeah, and she's honestly slow post code. But finally for me, she followed commands, was wiggling, no sedation. So hoping she gets extubated and has the best quality of life possible and fixes up her lifestyle, man. Because
dude.
Drinking leads to high creatinine, leads to a kidney stone, and your life turns, man.
Up and you go to the hospital and get intubated. So everything in moderation, guys. Don't be drinking it every day. It's not good for you. If you are, get some help. Ask somebody, dude, because it fucking sucks.
Exactly.
And somebody's loved one, and they probably saw that. Is where it is. But in my 3 days in a row were all shit shows. The first one was a shit show because I had that one patient that we all know, everyone knows on unit 103. Came initially for like amphetamines use, and he was withdrawing, so he was super combative, not compliant. They had to intubate him a couple of days ago, and even on the vent, like I have him on 45 of propofol, I have him on 1.4 Precedex, I have him on 5 of Lasix, 25 of the butamine.
Started drip.
Yeah, and he's the amphetamines did. It actually made him go into forward ventricle cardiomyopathy. So we're treating that with butamine, and we're also pulling him fluids off him because CF is 25%. So any kind of excess fluid is going to make his heart work a lot harder. And it was cool because he was like very tacky to begin with, hypotensive, and then once started on Lasix, heart rate's in the 80s. Before he was in 130s. Heart rate's in the 80s, blood pressures are fine. I'm pulling that fluid off, you peeing like 350 an hour. Urine looks great. He's pulling that off.
How's that condom cat though?
They foliated him finally, dude. After I've been asking for 2 days, dude, and somebody finally, it was cool because it was an older nurse. So I like when there's grandma nurses because they're straight fucking business.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, and old nurses, they know stuff because sometimes when there's young nurses, I would kind of be iffy telling like, hey, I bolused them like 5 of propofol, but I knew, her dialect and shit, like I know she was straight business. I was like, yeah, just freaking out, 4 to 5 propofol, does a great job. She's like, perfect, thank you so much. And they know. Sometimes a new grad, you'd be like, yeah, I bolus him with 5 minutes of propofol. She's like, oh, how would you bolus on a pump? You just say you draw it out, then you give it to him. You're like, oh, you can do that? You got what you got to do. He's on a vent. We're not concerned about respiratory arrest really, unless we push a bunch of propofol where it completely stops. Like probably going to cardiac arrest quicker than respiratory arrest. He's on the vent. But yeah, so I had him. He was a shit show, shedding all 3 days. I had stool softeners when I came on shift, still shedding. He shed more for me today than he did the other 2 days. Held this stuff, and I had a neuro patient on the second day, and I was tripled. And this neuro patient was a fucking piece of work, dude. Very nice lady. Just she came in for confusion, memory loss, and came to ER. She had high ICP, so they put a third ventriculostomy in her. It was clamped when I got there, so I wasn't draining anything. But if so with ventriculostomies, you got neuro checks every hour basically, especially if it's clamped. Because if there's any kind of change in mental status, if you get like a severe headache, if they get severely nauseous, start vomiting really hard, or like a substantial change in vitals, you go hypertensive, you can open that drain back up and drain that the fluid, the CSF fluid. Just because ideally you clamp it because you think that your body is going to absorb it at a fast enough rate where it won't get too much, where it's gonna compress your brain basically. So luckily I didn't have to do that. But she had a headache, but she was nauseous the whole shift. I was giving her pain meds Q4, I was giving her Zofran Q4 around the clock. But I wasn't too concerned because it wasn't real bad. And her headaches were usually, and nausea were usually with movement. So that's kind of normal because, when you move around, you have a fluid shift. So that's kind of okay for the headache to get a little bit worse. Nausea to get a little bit worse with a change in like, if she's sitting up compared to laying down compared to going to the commode. And the only way she would pee is in the commode. But this lady was so fixated on all her wires and her O2 probe and stuff like that, where it literally, me and the husband, bless his fucking heart, thank God he was there, patient ass dude. And I'm glad I had her on second shift, because if I would have had her today, I probably would have fucking lost it. But literally, it took her like 5 minutes to be able to stand up, because we tell her to stand up, she's like, okay, I'm gonna stand up, and she wouldn't do it, and she'd forget. And over and over and over again. So it's like you're patiently waiting for her to stand up. And you have to keep telling her, hey, we're gonna stand up, we're gonna stand up, we're gonna stand up. It takes 5 minutes to stand up. Then when she's standing, it takes another 5 minutes to turn. You gotta tell her to turn. Hey, can you turn for me? Remember, we're gonna pee. Can you turn for me? Yeah, I'm doing it. And she's not doing it. So you slowly gotta keep going over and over and over again on this. And then you had another 5 minutes for her to sit down on a commode. And that was a mission because she had to go 4 times. And that's literally like almost an hour of my time just trying to get her to go to the bathroom, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's tasking neuro patients for sure.
But what's cool is because I don't do neuro a lot. I don't like neuro. I hate neuro. But it was cool to see that progressively she got better as the shift went on. At first she was anal times 1, couldn't really hold a conversation, and then like around 3 o'clock she remembered that she's in the hospital. We had to tell her like, hey, are you at a restaurant, hospital? You at the clinic? You at home? What'd you tell you? Hospital. Okay, cool. Started getting like quicker on the commode and stuff slowly, but not by much, by 30 seconds. I timed it one time, just for fun. And I was like, hey. Blank the guy's name. I was like, she's improving because technically we got on to come out quicker than before, So we're laughing a little bit. But she was fine. And then eventually, like at 5 o'clock, she could tell me exactly where she was, who she was, hold a better conversation, and get up to commode fastest time yet. So they pulled that drain. I didn't see her since. It seemed like she was doing well. But she had these tremors. So I know like neuro issues, like if you have a drain, it can cause tremors. But I'm thinking if maybe she had did she drink alcohol? I didn't think about it until the nurse asked me on days, like, she has tremors, does she drink alcohol? I'm like, shit, I didn't fucking ask. I just figured that, hey, she got a drain in her brain, it's probably causing tremors. Alright, so that's over with that. Today, got into work, I was also tripled, and I was not chilling, but I was still busy at work. I had the same patients, had 103 and I had 105. 105 was here for a STEMI, it's his 4th one. Very sick guy. It's cool because he's homeless, and his medical POA, he found him on the streets, and he's a religious guy, and he brought him in to his home. Let him stay at his home whenever he wants, helps him pay his bills when he's able to afford housing.
104?
105. Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, the black guy, cool as fuck. Also crazy, he got shot in the head and shit. Wild story, but he's fine now. So he's very thankful, and he came to see him today. He's like, man, I didn't even know he knew I was here. Like, I'm so thankful for him, all of that he done. He's, I don't have anybody, I don't have any family, I have nobody. I'm living on the streets. And this guy literally took me in, gave me a shower whenever I needed, gives me food, helps pay my bills when I could afford the bills, so on and so forth. And I'm like, for sure, yeah, he needed that. But yeah, he's supposed to get sent out a day prior, but he had changed rhythm. It showed acute STEMI with, I think, right mother branch block. So his rhythm looked like shit to begin with. I give him maybe like a year, if that. He might probably even die here if you think about it, because like, what is he gonna do? He's on the streets, so I'm gonna get his medications. Like in my prior hospital at Christ, we probably put him on like at home inotropes, or maybe do like an elevator workup, but they don't do that here. So it's kind of, his care here is gonna be basically, this is it, to be honest. I don't want to tell him. I told him,
Does EF his shit too?
They did, yeah. I believe it was shit. So I forgot what the number was, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good either. And then of course today I got a mission at 1 o'clock. Sepsis. What happened is his wife died a few months ago. Ever since that, he's been doing drugs. Older guy, about high 60s, but has been drinking, doing Xanax and Tramadol, and just seems like he probably overdosed. It almost seems like he wanted to end it. It feels like, because the family hasn't spoken to him for a couple of days. It's because he was picking up a phone call, so they wellness check, and hypotensive, delirious, confused. So they brought him here. Sepsis, right pneumonia, full low basically, what it looked like, and put him on some antibiotics. And he was chilling. And when I was charting like around 6:45, trying to catch him, maybe it was like 7:10. He was Brady, so I'm like, oh, for sure, maybe he's trying to convert. And it's like doesn't get any higher than 42. I'm like, ah, shit, okay, it's going there. And everyone's like freaking out, like, hey, no CPR, no intubation, clot diversion meds only. Someone said, let's just give like a round or two of it. And basically left the room because I had to finish up charting. So the nurse was like, hey, do your thing, you know, we're busy, we'll take care of this. I did shift change already. So he ended up passing away. But what's crazy is he was talking to the nurse practitioner and he was saying like, hey, before I pass away, I want to square everything over with my documentation. I want to make sure that when I pass, my niece has everything good, doesn't have to worry about anything, and has everything, you know, already taken care of. And ended up passing today. It looked like shit, didn't look very well.
Crazy.
Yeah, the way cookie crumbles. And, two very rough shifts out of these 3, and now we're here. I'm glad to be off. Just gonna chill. Just a couple days.
All right, boys and girls.
It's a long one, so it's doozy.
That was a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed these nursing debriefments. If you guys have any
Questions,
suggestions, let us know. Comment down below.
Love you to like it, subscribe, you know, do your thing. So.
Peace.